Who did it better than us? Nobody! We're focused on the things that have made us good all year long, an intensity that they can't match. And the other thing is the ultimate disrespect is when somebody takes what's yours. And this is our game, so that makes it personal. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. I need 60 minutes. 60 minutes a minute. 60 minutes. Go, Pistons. Go, Magic. You got me. We're going to ring the bell. We're going to ring that championship bell. Motherfucking dog.
Here comes the pressure. Penix fires over the middle, and it is intercepted. Mikey Sanders, they're going the other way.
The legend of Mike Sanders still continues to grow.
JJ takes the snap, flips the ball to Roman Wilson after he takes a knee, and Michigan, the Wolverines, have won a national championship.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hartman. Jackpot, Kansas City.
This was the Andy Reid special we talked about. He was saving all day. He's going to fake a motion to go across. And at that moment, he turns and goes back Hartman, who they didn't have, right?
On this touchdown throw to Mecole Hardman, who started the season as a Jet.
And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
Last week we said in the locker room, nobody but the guys in that locker room knew how good this group can be. Now the whole damn country knows. So
Hello, everyone. Huddle Up Podcast. It is Tuesday, January the 14th, 2025. We're glad to be back with you for another one. Not a lot of time left in our live season, but we're going to make the most of it. Make sure you are following along with us on our social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter, TikTok, at least while it's still here at Huddle Up Podcast. We are on Instagram at Huddle Up Podcast Inc. We are on Twitch at Huddle Up Inc. You can watch us live on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube during our live season or on demand all the time. So make sure you go ahead and grab that. You can also head over to our TeePublic store and grab some Huddle Up merch. We have some new designs from the season there. We got the hat that Kyle is sporting as well. So plenty of stuff to get you through the season and the off season. So make sure you grab that, the muscle shirts and everything for the beach time, the sweatshirts for the winter time. So go ahead and grab all of that while you can. And if you're following along with us, feel free to interact in the comments. We would certainly appreciate that as we go through the show. We'll get those up on the screen as well. But I think EJ and Sean, not together, but will be fashionably late at some point during
that would be awkward if they were.
Well, I don't know how much room there is in the van. I don't want to risk that on either of them. But
with Ernest in there, 0.
Yeah, absolutely
0.0.
But we will start. We'll go around the room. We will start with Mikey B. How we doing this week?
We're good. We're excited. We've got a lot to talk about. Should be a day, boys and girls. Strap in.
Certainly should. Devin joining us in the comments. Going on,
hey.
Devin. Hope you're doing well, bud. Student of the game, Kyle Nash, back with us this week. How we doing?
This is where I start mocking everybody about people talking about off seasons and shit, and I'm all like, off season D's nuts. My work with Fans First Sports Network, and of course the black and gold banneret reigns supreme and continues on as we deal with the round ball. But Jim, who knew that in the intro they were talking about JJ takes the snap? Who knew that would be such a damn novelty? Did not hear that once this NFL season, and yet the Vikings were in the playoffs. Spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. So
yeah, they're hoping at least that they hear that next season, maybe after what happened yesterday, but more on that later. And Matt, how we doing this week?
Doing well. It was a solid football weekend for me. almost saw everything I wanted to happen, including a nice little bow at the end. We've seen the fraudulent Vikings finally see their run come to an end.
Not a great basketball weekend for you, though, partner.
No, not great.
was-
but
that
the
was
season ended in July, so I've come to terms with that.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
Sixers
y'all were in that until Paul George fouled out, which, like I said, I was there in person on Sunday to witness that. Fans First Sports Network. So there you go.
With season, long over. But you also did get the news this week, Matt, about the new arena in the sports complex.
Not going into Center City, so that's good. The one time Adam Silver meddling with the Sixers turned out to be a good thing for the Sixers.
Good job. Apparently it took all sports commissioners to do that. Apparently it was a group project for the sports commissioners, but they got that done. That was some exciting news for the Sixers. But some definite excitement over here, like Mikey B said. A big week. Still ahead of us. Yeah, Devin pointed out about the Sixers arena as well. So, but we're gonna plug in. We're gonna go get started here, and when the other guys do crash through the wall, we will add them on. But before we talk about the big game coming up this upcoming Monday, let's look back at the games from last week, the college football playoff semifinals. Of course, Notre Dame defeating Penn State in the Orange Bowl. Ohio State over Texas in the Cotton Bowl. We'll start in the Orange Bowl, guys, and maybe Matt, I'll kick it to you first here. Takeaways from the game: good, bad, ugly. What surprised you? What didn't surprise you?
Yeah, I think the ability to overcome the turnovers on the side of Notre Dame was what I was most surprised with. I thought the way both defenses were playing, that any type of turnover resulting in points for the offense, which we saw in the late Leonard interception that turned into a touchdown for Penn State. I thought that was kind of the nail in the coffin, given Notre Dame's inability to score quickly throughout the season, especially against a stronger defense. I mean, we saw them do it against, like Stanford, but never really saw them have that quick explosive play. That they got to Jaden Greathouse, which I think the Penn State defenders are still on skates down in Florida at this point. But I think that was probably the most surprising aspect to that, is just that we haven't seen them hit that big play they need throughout this playoffs. So to see that happen when it happened, I thought was kind of the most surprising. The good was just, I think both defenses really put on a solid performance. It's a shame that it was the offense on both sides that kind of made the mistakes, because normally we don't see that, especially with Notre Dame. Leonard's usually pretty careful with the ball because he doesn't throw it a lot. So it was nice to just kind of see them make those plays when they needed to. And for all the criticism that Franklin gets, and rightly so. I think,
rightly so.
In this game specifically, that
Rightly so.
all at the end where everyone was like, "Why are you throwing? Go into overtime." I think that was the right play call in that moment. Just poor execution. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing too, and I think it gets lost in the James Franklin rhetoric and things like that. The two primary targets that Penn State had been hitting all game, Singleton and Warren, Notre Dame, for the first time pretty much all night, did a hell of a job at actually covering those two targets. If you go back and watch that replay, Warren goes to the top of the screen and Notre Dame covers it. That was Drew Aller's first look, and then he looked for Singleton low. He was covered. And then there's a blitzer coming in, linebacker blitzing in, and Aller has to make a quick choice. Now, probably should have thrown it 30 yards up into the stands. I'm very happy that he chose not to do that.
Why is that, Jim?
Tried to force the pass in. Obviously, we know what happens. But the play I don't think was the problem. I think it was the execution. I think, and obviously we'll let Kyle and Mike talk about, but I think one of my surprises, if you would have told me before the semifinal games that one set of players would ruin the losing team and one set of coaches would ruin the losing team, I would have had the two sets flip-flopped. I would have guessed coaching would have hurt Penn State, and players would have hurt Texas, and I think we had the opposite. But student of the game, what did your thoughts on the Orange Bowl?
I am on the exact opposite, actually. I did not enjoy the playing call, or as well. I shouldn't say I didn't enjoy it. I think that was the wrong move. You go to overtime, especially in a game where you're damn well certain that you have not completed damn pass to a wide receiver. Hello? So get yourself into the red zone. Do this BS overtime rules of college, which suck horribly. Yeah. So I mean, I think that shorter space actually serves Penn State. And listen, the worst decision of all was obviously. Yeah, exactly. The worst decision of all was trying to throw it off your back foot and make something happen. Definitely not as big a James Franklin crime, but this is the kind of stuff we've come to know and love from him. So to your point, Matt, maybe you can make the philosophical argument. Maybe it wasn't a horrible play call, but it still, in my opinion, makes James Franklin kind of culpable as a repeat offender, because there was a great defense to not do it, especially in that particular instance. Also learned for all the mistakes that were made, the ones who didn't make them late, Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman at work as a coach, keeping his guys sharp in crunch time, and once again having his guys more poised, just like the previous game against Kirby Smart's guys, where he got somebody to jump off sides like a moron on the Georgia side too. So I think we're just seeing more of Marcus Freeman doing Marcus Freeman things. The argument could be made by Penn State that they did plenty to shoot themselves in the foot with the drop pass and the fall-in corner that then turned into a long run because of a safety that got owned. But at the end of the day, in those big moments, that's where that coaching concept comes into play. So I stand to be far more harsh on James Franklin than you, Matt. But hey, at the end of the day, I know you live with somebody that would give you a harder time.
I will say that if it goes to overtime, I don't think Notre Dame walks out of there with a win. So I understand the criticism coming from that side of it. I just think after you get the 13-yard gain on the first run, it makes sense to see what you can get on a passing play down the field.
Yeah, they did have about 45 seconds and 2 timeouts. So to move the ball,
it's the 2 timeouts that make me question it more than anything.
Yeah, I don't, and I think that's like the play call probably not as big of an issue as it was the execution by Drew Aller. And when your 2 biggest targets are covered, just get the ball out of there, man. You're a junior 3-year starter. You should probably be more aware than that.
Apparently a number 1 pick too.
Allegedly.
Thank you
To the Giants.
Allegedly.
But here's hoping.
Jets.
But here's the thing: when you have, and Kyle brought it up, and I want to piggyback on it. That's another option. When you don't complete a pass to a wide receiver the entire time, hello, what are we doing? You're like, oh, let's throw it to the alleged tight end of the year.
Allegedly.
I will fight that battle for the kid from Bowling Green, but that's neither here nor there. But Tyler Warren will probably be a first-round draft pick, and that's okay. When you have a guy who's been as good as he was in the Orange Bowl, because he was good in that game, get to overtime. Get to overtime at that point. Because at that point, you're putting your best player, Tyler Warren, your best running back, the pair of them, you're putting them 25 yards away from a shot to give you a chance to win a football game.
Also, Mike, let me add this too. What you say is correct, and I will add this. Both players can help in both dimensions of an offense simultaneously, thus making them even scarier. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad Drew Aller made a bad choice on Thursday evening. I'm not going to lie about it. Because I agree with Matt. I think like Notre Dame had kind of grabbed the momentum in the third quarter, but it was starting to slip away. And I'm right there with you. Like as Penn State after they had scored to tie, and then they get the ball back. I'm just sitting here going, this is where this is how it happens. This is how aware is this like
I'm aware.
God bless Mike. God bless Matt. God bless my wife. They went through it with me. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm glad Drew Aller made a poor decision. Devin, I agree with you. I think Franklin kept his job. I don't think he was going to get fired once I think they cleared the first round. I don't think there was any danger of James Franklin getting fired this year. I really don't.
I mean, 0.0 when you get through SMU and Boise State.
Yeah,
you won the 2 games that you were supposed to win.
Yeah,
put yourself in the Final Four. Then it's a crapshoot.
Had they gotten run off their own field by SMU, maybe you ask some hard questions this offseason. But I don't think there's any danger.
There wasn't going to be an easier path. And please, with all due respect to the Notre Dame brethren who are both wearing their jerseys like the fucking homers they are, it's the path any easier for Notre Dame? With no disrespect to Notre Dame, I had said, it wasn't on this show, obviously, but it was on the Student of the Game podcast, if not the Earnestly Speaking. The bar is set at Notre Dame. If you couldn't beat Notre Dame, you probably weren't winning a national championship anyway, so the hell with you. Notre Dame's job was to be an equalizer and thin the herd at the very least. And they thinned the herd of Indiana. They got rid of a Georgia team that was not as good because they didn't have a starting quarterback. They needed to be thinned out as well. And actually, I think I said this to you, Jim, as a matter of fact, Student Game Podcast. So Notre Dame did its job. Penn State needed to clear the bar. And if this is an Olympic sport and they failed the pole vault here, I'm sorry. The hard questions have to be asked, much to the chagrin of Penn State haters like my good friend, the AJ Hawk of the show, Matt Muehlheisen. Like, the questions need to be asked, okay? Just like Ryan Day's going to get the same treatment just for losing to Michigan.
I think it's a fair point. I think given that even in the 3 losses he had, granted, you say James Franklin can't win the big games. He had 3 opportunities. He lost all 3 of them. I get that. But they didn't get run off the field. I think that, keeping it close with Ohio State, keeping it close with Oregon, I think that was kind of probably enough for him. And again, fingers crossed to keep his job. But I think that the bar in the past has been they have not been competitive in these games. This year, they were at least competitive in them. And I think that's what the Penn State fans were looking for. They, obviously to win those 2 games means a lot too. Beating SMU and Boise State, like Mikey said, they did the job that was in front of them. And I think that coupled with keeping it competitive with the other 3 is enough to give them one more shot, especially with all the players they have returning.
I was going to say, I think the window is if they don't make the Final Four / national title game, if Drew Allard comes back with all the weapons that they're going to have return, then I think the James Franklin hot seat is infernoed. I think this year you kind of look at it, you go, all right, we got to the Final Four of this thing. We know how it works now. Let's get the pieces to come back. Let's give it one more run. And if it doesn't work, then we make the decision to move on from there.
Especially when Penn State kind of operated with the, Notre Dame under Brian Kelly, Michigan under Jim Harbaugh mindset of, something's not working on both sides of the ball. You bring in new defensive coach, new offensive coach. They looked quite a bit different. Now, again, hit the portal for some wide receivers if you're Penn State. That's probably that's probably your number one priority. But they looked a lot different than previous years on offense. They looked a little bit more creative. So, I don't think you scrap what you were doing after 1 year. Now come back a year from now, and maybe we're having a different discussion if they don't perform.
But I mean, how many lives does this guy get, man? And y'all are making the
Marvin
Lewis for Marvin Lewis wasn't the problem, sir. That's a conversation we should have on the Student of the Game podcast.
I agree with that assessment. I'm just saying Marvin Lewis got 39 lives because it was coordinator problems, player problems. It was a wide receiver, and the year before it was coordinator problems. They fixed the coordinator problems. Now,
this ain't that though. Like, and let me be clear: the point of view I'm coming from is obviously the repeat offender space. And while your witty, thoroughly enjoyable retort of Marvin Lewis is apropos, I don't think it holds water here. Now, if the defense really is, well, he did this, let's see what happens. Boy, howdy, he got a lot more lives than a lot of other coaches do. And really, in a power vacuum that is the Big Ten, you're missing an opportunity if everything's going the way that you're saying. I'm throwing that out there.
Oh, sure. No, I agree. But I also think the expansion of the playoff in the format, and we have our own issues with the format that we've talked about over the duration of this season.
Something will be different, I'm sure.
Right. I'm sure something is going to change in the short term, but when you expand the field, because maybe if the field isn't expanded and it is a 4-team playoff, I mean, as the schedule played out, Penn State would have made it anyway. Now probably wouldn't have been as pretty, with a different first round matchup, but they would have at least gotten there. And then you would have had a different conversation because he didn't win any postseason game. But I think with the expanded format, they kind of give him the opportunity to say, hey, go out there, make it, and then we'll talk. So, but Mikey B, your takeaways from the Orange Bowl.
So we focused on the last drive a lot in this portion of the show. I'm going to focus on something else that needs to be addressed here. The middle 8 minutes.
Nice.
The last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. Backup quarterback comes in.
Nice.
Drives Notre Dame down the field. They get points before the half. I text Jim as soon as that happened. I said, first drive, have to score no matter what. I said, I don't care if it's 3 points. I don't care if it's 7. You got to put points on that board, especially whenever they say Riley Leonard's coming back in the football game. We've given James Franklin a lot of flack on this show, and rightly so, 9 out of 10 times.
Right. So
We gave him a little bit.
So.
We gave him a little bit of flack for the play call. Now we've said it's Drew Allard with his decision making. That's neither here nor there.
Two things could be true, Mike.
Correct. What I will say is my frustration, if I'm a Penn State fan, and my concern, how do you come out that flat to start the second half? Because you've been able to stop the Notre Dame run game the entire first half. If you're James Franklin, there's a 50-50 chance that Riley Leonard's coming back out there. If not, you have a backup quarterback. So they're going to run the football probably on that first drive to make sure Riley Leonard's head isn't knocked into an oblivion if he does come back into the game. Or you try to stop the run on the first 2 plays, then you blitz a backup quarterback who hasn't seen active plays in a football game since a kneel down and the drive to end the second half.
Right.
You're literally sitting there going, you know what? Here, guys. Here you go. Just run it right down our throat for the next 4.5 minutes and score.
Right, and that comes down to defensive coaching, because at the time I was like, well, maybe the backup quarterback helped them, where like help Notre Dame, where like the defense is like, well, we don't have to, a lot for a quarterback run, but like if he does come back, we do. But that's what the coaching has. You have a half hour there to be like, okay, if it's Leonard, here's the plan. If it's not, here's the plan, and like you had to be ready to go. And
it genuinely felt like on that middle 4, it just felt like they were not ready to win a football game, because you stop Notre Dame there, you've now put yourself legitimately in a spot with a score that game is over.
Mike, your wife's looking for Ernest.
I know.
Lady Caliente talking D shit.
So are the authorities.
Wait, I thought he was the authorities. I'm very confused now, Matt.
No, Mike. Yeah, Mike, that's a great point. That's something that Notre Dame's really focused on, not only over the course of the season, but in this college football playoff. You look at the Sugar Bowl. Those 8 minutes are probably the biggest reason Notre Dame beat Georgia.
Sugar Bowl for sure.
The game on its head in those 8 minutes, and they were able to score probably the most important 10 points of their season in the Orange Bowl.
I gave Freeman 60 seconds of filleting already, Jim. We're good.
Well, and Jim, you have coaches in football that and the coin toss is what gets me. You have coaches that'll win a coin toss and want the ball, and you have coaches that win a coin toss and they want the ball in the second half. And when you're playing that middle 8 minutes, you always want the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
Like if that's where your focus is, and there was no doubt when Notre Dame won that toss that they were going to take the ball in the second half.
Yep. They've been doing it all year, but yeah, it's a great point, Mike. Sean, your takeaway from the Orange Bowl.
Well, I mean, the one takeaway I do have, and as much as like Mike said that we've beaten up Franklin and that we've beaten up Penn State, they came to play. I thought it was a much better effort from them, and that defense, we really hadn't seen them overly battle tested. They did not have a lot of the big rivalry games we see some years on the schedule, and I felt because of that we discredited them some. That defense was definitely better than even I thought they were.
Even without Abdul Carter, Sean.
Yeah,
by the way.
I mean they've got a pass rusher with one arm who still couldn't be stopped. Injuries to the offensive line on the Irish side helped that some, but yeah, I mean I think the takeaway for me on the Notre Dame side of the ball is that they don't quit. This team is not going to lay down. They learned what laying down will do when they did it against Northern Illinois before the game even started, and I don't think you've seen them lay down since. And I think Ohio State's going to have their handful. I will say this with the Penn State takeaways that you guys kind of were alluding to, and the wide receivers you guys talked about. Obviously, that's a main focus. But talking to some buddies of mine that are in the Penn State faithful, who are way higher on Allard than I am, but a lot of belief that with the arm and stuff like that, he's a fellow that may be playing on Sundays.
Smoke.
Yeah, I mean, but if that's the case, even they were saying to have a guy with that arm strength and to have a guy that presumably could be a good college quarterback, and then not have wide receivers for him to throw to when you're a school that over the past decade has put a ton of wide receivers into the NFL. And to not have one for this guy's career is fairly unfortunate, especially now that his tight end is about to go make millions of dollars. So probably already was. But we probably already making millions of dollars. That guy's good. Yeah, he's gonna be a good show on Sundays. But Notre Dame didn't quit. Penn State was impressive. Next year the big question mark from Penn State for me is going to be what the schedule looks like, and if there are bigger games, can Franklin even get back on this road another time? So that would be my question mark for them going into the season.
He won't always have a G5 team and an ACC team in his way. That's not always going to go that way, buddy. That's a good point by you, Sean.
Penn State's 2025 football schedule real quick. Nevada, FIU, Villanova, off. Oregon, at UCLA, Northwestern, at Iowa, off. At Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan State on the road, Nebraska, at Rutgers.
So please tell me again what's wrong with Alabama.
2 losses on that schedule.
Still no Michigan.
Yeah, there's one confirmed loss in Columbus in November 1st.
And a 50-50 game at home against Oregon in September.
Against Oregon, depending what they do in the transfer portal.
They always ride the struggle bus to Iowa, though. They always ride the struggle bus to Iowa.
That'll probably be
if they lose any other game, they're out of the playoff. Or they better be. More on that.
Yeah, weird things happen in Kinnick.
Hey, Villanova's good.
They're not better than Vanderbilt.
At basketball.
One more question with Franklin. I know he came in after Bill O'Brien kind of unceremoniously left, much to the chagrin of a lot of Penn State fans because of how he had turned that program around after the Paterno thing. How much of it is just loyalty to Franklin for stepping in and not scorning them, do you think? Because, I mean, we see they stick with coaches past the expiration date.
So Tomlin defense. I like it.
I was going to say the NCAA version of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Correct.
I mean, by the way,
does the school never notice that when the NFL has a million jobs open and they're calling all the colleges that no one's calling Happy Valley? Do they not notice that? I don't know. I never see Franklin interviewing with the Raiders. You don't see that. He's even the Raiders are we're good, thanks.
Or hey, maybe. And you're probably right, but maybe Penn State and their upper echelon is smart enough to keep it all in house and get in front of it and say, "Yo, James, here's the deal. No," and do something for him. I don't know what it would be exactly, but hey, it's a separate conversation.
He has a secretary that just hangs up. Just puts it back.
It is kind of the Mike Tomlin defense. I mean, he's it's a regular season winning percentage of 71. He's just over 500 in postseason play. Obviously, we know he hasn't won any huge ones. He has a conference title, so it is kind of that. He
doesn't finish under 500.
Right. His only losing season came in the 2020 pandemic
COVID.
season, which might as well be thrown away.
Counts.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
The only way it could be more perfect
NCAA
is if
doesn't count it, neither do we.
Yeah, the only way it could be more perfect is if he coached for Pitt instead of Penn. Then it would be
Fair.
geographically accurate as well.
Fair.
Man,
I
I don't get to see a lot of Penn State's games, but I think I said something to Jim on the phone. I was like they interviewed him at halftime, and I think I just forgot like what a zany, weird, like animated.
Yeah,
like it's like a cartoon character that has no script. It's just like,
and I mean, it's kind of
I
perfect
don't
for
live on the
middle.
field, bro. And I was like, what is he saying?
It's kind of like perfect for a school like in the middle of a mountain in Western PA.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's like an animated cat trying to impersonate John Madden and getting the voice wrong.
Yeah,
In a place
We
called
need to
Happy
score
Valley.
more points. Like
you saw that in the pregame interview with him and Freeman too, where he was just saying stupid shit the whole time. It's like, what are you
I still
doing?
think he was deflecting, so nobody pointed out that this was a big game.
Yeah,
He's like, if I just keep talking, no one will point out that I can't win.
Freeman wants to powerbomb me through a table. Maybe they'll forget it's a big one.
What I hear you telling me is I am desperate for Penn State to come to the Citrus Bowl so I can see this in person.
There you go.
I mean,
Kyle, as somebody
I would
that's been somebody who's been in those rooms, you really should go watch some of the coaches' press conference from like last Tuesday, because there was a weird vibe in that room. It was very weird. Yeah,
it was like a very business. Well, one, like Freeman, as far as a human being, is a very beautiful human being, and he's like very huge, and he's like all business, and he's just, I'm here to talk about a game, and Franklin's just putting on a clown show and like juggling, and you're just like, what is
buddy? Try being in a room with Ed Ogeron and Bobby Petrino. That's a fucking vibe, boys. Okay, that's a fucking vibe.
When you've also been in the room with the Saban and Harbaugh year one, right?
That's a completely different vibe.
That's a whole different vibe.
That's a good God. If I move the wrong way, I'm going to get shot vibe.
Yeah,
like, I'm just gonna sit here.
I said.
Ryan checks in with this is the natty is a lose for him. He's pulling for the refs.
Cry harder, Ryan.
Oh, okay. So you're
crew, so they're fine.
Don't make a Chiefs joke. Don't do it, Burn. You're too predictable.
That wasn't where I was going. I was going for you. So you're rooting for pass interferences that don't make any sense.
Wow.
Oh God, that's too real to be funny, Mike. Shit.
I mean, Tyler Warren, triple coverage. Hey, let's just
actually Ryan likes chaos, so he probably wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
Probably. My biggest takeaway, besides some of the points I already made, was just that Notre Dame stuck to what they wanted to do. And if you look at the locker room speech at halftime, the message was don't panic. This was always going to be a fight. Let's go out and win the fight, and that's what they did. So that's what Notre Dame football's been this year. And hopefully they have one more. But let's switch gears now to the Cotton Bowl from Friday. Of course, Ohio State, like I said, 28-14 over Texas. Mike, I'll start with you this time. Your biggest takeaway from the Cotton Bowl.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh geez. Oh,
I think my biggest takeaway in the entire situation here is, for a guy who is an offensive guru, and I've brought this up on this show before, Steve Sarkisian, I keep hearing about it, this great offensive mind. You are in the red zone. You have now been stopped from the 1 yard line. Let's run it, but pitch it 7 yards back behind the line of scrimmage and give the Ohio State defense a running shot to stop us.
You have a quarterback that's ever done it. God, that was awful.
You have a quarterback on the sideline who you've used to run the football and have explosive plays, including in that game, and you're like, you know what?
What'd you do?
Let's pitch it 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Let's keep Ewers in there. Have him throw one behind him. They'll never see that coming.
So, man,
I just want it to be this Texas team coming into this game was practically left for dead because they were in a fight with Arizona State. You found a way to keep Ohio State out of the end zone as much as they did in that football game. Kudos to the Texas defense. I will give all the credit in the world to that defense for showing up and stopping an offense that, coming out of the Rose Bowl, we looked up, I think all of us did, and said, Ohio State by 1 million. Texas may not even make it to halftime. because of how bad the defense played against Arizona State. Credit to those coaches for getting that team ready to play defense against as good of an offense as Ohio State is.
By the way, your Bo Scadaboo disrespect is noted, sir. Carry on.
Whoa.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Relax.
I've made him the fourth thing for sure in life. Death, taxes, the over, and Camp Scadabo.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, I look at it from this perspective.
The joke.
For Steve Sarkisian, who is a offensive-minded coach and an offensive guru that we've heard Kurt Herbstreit talk about 7,000
allegedly.
times.
Oh, God, I was hoping you were going to push that button, Jin. Thank you.
I mean, I knew it was coming. So, but Kurt Herbstreit has told us a bajillion times about how great of an offensive mind he is. That offensive play calling in the red zone, not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
I wasn't going to voice act that one.
I think just clinging to Ewers the entire time was just, you're just kind of like, are you just that full of your own offensive like prowess that you're like,
the answer is yes, Sean.
Like, I can win with this guy. I don't need a Manning. I can win with this one. Like, you're not winning. Make a change. Like, what are you? And
absolute insanity. Student of the game, your takeaway from the Cotton Bowl.
First of all, the Texas offensive performance put the EU in Ewers. I'll put it that way.
Nice.
One might say I was quitting on Ewers. See, because it's close to Quinton. I've never been a Ewers guy. I think I've been very public about that, et cetera, et cetera. I
don't think you've been public enough about it. I had no idea until about 8 seconds ago.
This fucking guy. Now he's telling jokes on my turn. I love this shit. It's great. I love that I could be on a show I could curse on again, by the way. Exactly, right? This guy gets it. Don't
Ewers gonna be playing for somebody else, that's for sure.
Facts of the case. I'm surprised he didn't end up in Miami. More on that later.
Listen, he doesn't date one of the Cavender twins.
Correct. I get why everybody's killing Sarkisian on the toss play. I understand why it happened, and the guy who explains it way better than I could on this podcast is one Joel Klatt. They saw something in the film, they couldn't run it up the middle, and so they were desperate. And desperate people do stupid shit. That's what it comes down to, right? And there's something about purposely going backwards in a goal line play in a field that's already shortened that enhances the risk. In other words, if it works, you're a genius. On that particular play, there is literally, outside of a turnover, no way you could fucking look worse. So I think the blowback is a touch. I think the blowback is a touch overblown. Credit to Ohio State's defense for being that stout in the middle. They're probably going to have more guys go to the NFL than that group. But for me, this is more about Ewers being exposed for the mediocre quarterback that he is. And may he have good luck transferring. I'm convinced that when the comparisons to Danny Dimes came out, he opted to stay in college to get just as much money in NIL as he would get in the pros.
Time out. I'm gonna get paid in another year of college. I'm not gonna go there. Matt, your takeaway from the Cotton Bowl.
I mean, that was the biggest thing for me, is to have first and goal from the 1, and that turned into a touchdown for Ohio State is just fucking wild. That should not happen. Worst case scenario, they wouldn't have kicked a field goal, but like that would have been better than what transpired. Anything but what happened. And like Mike said, credit to the defense for actually showing up, because Ohio State does have a lot of talent and a lot of money invested into that offense. So to see Texas be able to, do what they did, where not a lot of teams have been able to shut down Ohio State's scoring like they did, beyond Michigan, as gross as that is to say. So I think that there is a blueprint to beat Ohio State, and I think two teams have tried their best to do it. It's just there's so much talent on both sides of the ball, and I think we saw that during that game specifically, that offensively and defensively, money well spent for the recruiting.
There's the message right there from my wife is got to study the Michigan defensive film.
Well, and far be it from me to battle with the great Mrs. Jim, but Ryan Day has also kind of pulled his head out of his ass and actually coached his team as the finesse team that they are. There's that too.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's using the weapons the way they're
no,
intended to be used. Yeah.
No disrespect to the Ohio State coaching staff for what they've done in the postseason, but I think that there's a difference between, Michigan's defense and the defenses of Tennessee and Oregon.
I mean, okay,
there's apparently differences from that to the defense of Texas, and now a Notre Dame defensive unit. Like I have faith in what that defensive unit can do. More on that in a second.
The Michigan defense came out and smacked the finesse team right in the face, and Ryan Day was like, "Oh, what do I do now?"
Well, they refused to run a finesse offense too at the same time.
Correct, but I'm saying we've also talked about Tennessee trying to go out there and intimidate somebody by practicing with no shirts on. That was stupid. And to be fair, I know I selected Oregon to win the national title, and I doubled down on that in that game. That team hasn't played a physical style of defense since
ever.
I'm waiting till I can think of a year. No, I ain't got nothing.
1990 never.
1990 never. This guy.
Yeah, the last time I think they played physical defense, Joey Harrington was playing quarterback for Oregon. So yes, a finesse team that didn't play a defense that kind of walked up and just kind of punched them right in the mouth. Texas attempted to punch him in the mouth, and I think for a while Texas was able to keep that team from being as explosive as it was because of the physicality that it played with. It just didn't help that the greatest offensive mind in Texas college football and Quinn Ewers decided to.
Yeah. Ryan, I agree with you. Much like Devin said earlier about James Franklin and his job, Ryan Day's job no longer on the line in Columbus. No, I think he is very much solidified himself. The only way he's not back in Columbus is if he would take an NFL job. But
can't wait to see.
Hey,
Ryan
don't rule
Day
it out.
Las
Maybe
Vegas.
he's sick of their crap.
Well, maybe. Sean, your takeaway from the Cotton Bowl.
Ryan Day's job not on the line. Ryan Day's still not in line to have a barber actually cut that beard of his. Just continues to let
Ryan
the
Day,
neighborhood
PhD.
kids do it or whatever, whoever's doing that. God, what a mess that is. Speaking of clown shoes, Franklin's not the only clown shoes Big Ten coach. Day's kind of a candidate for that award. But as far as takeaway of this game, you guys hit on a lot of them. Obviously, the offense and those things. The other big one I would say is by the time we were in the second half and you saw Ohio State flexing their muscle on both sides of the ball and Texas continuing to outthink themselves and, not seem to really have a strategy, you could almost feel as it got closer. Now, that goal line play that drive was a little different. But in the second half, I thought when the two teams were lining up, no matter who had the ball, that one team looked more afraid to be there than the other team. And I thought Texas looked timid. There was very, very much a just don't give up a big play or don't do, there was no longer an effort of we have to play our game. They didn't have a game left. And I think once that moment happened for me, I was like, this team's not going to win anything because they don't even know what they're going to do if they touch the ball. So, I think it was just a tale of two teams. You have a Big 12 school hiding in the SEC that forgot that, we used to not have to play defense. And you have a Big 10 school that really like Kyle said, the defensive middle and the defensive front. And I mean, the secondary I knew was fast, but they didn't even have to be because Ewers had no time to do anything. Hats off to Ohio State. They drew up a much better game, and we're just gonna have to hope the national championship goes a little different.
Yeah, I think I look at not only the pitch play there that backfired very dramatically, but then I also look at the first half when Texas defense did everything they could after a first drive Ohio State touchdown, and with relative ease they go down and score, and it's like, oh, that's not good. Texas.
Yeah, I remember being like, that was fast.
Texas goes 3 and out. Ohio State goes down the field with very little resistance, and it's
almost 3 and in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was this is going to be a long night for one fan base. And then Texas defense just settled in and didn't give up another point. their offense finds a way to get on the board. And then on the very next play, the first play of the Ohio State drive, you decide to blitz everybody except for that one guy who did his best to catch up to the Ohio State running back. And I'm going, why? Of all the things to do there, that was the decision to just bring everybody in white across the line like that just you have 20 seconds. Ohio State gets the ball after the half, so just don't give up a big play. What's the worst that happens? They kick a field goal and you go in down 3. Okay, big deal. Now all of a sudden,
someone in the front row yelled, "Get the ball!" and like everyone went, "Okay." And just like,
yeah, like and I'm just
like he's talking to me.
It was just like, what of all the things? So really, I mean, and granted, you don't give up a touchdown there. You don't know how Ohio State attacked the start of the second half, whatever. But man, when you look at a 2-score game and literally 2 plays were 2 Ohio State scores, you have to kind of wonder, could Texas have won the game? Even if they did look like the more scared teams at time, even if their quarterback was dramatically, the lesser than quarterback on the field, they were still 2 plays, literal 2 plays from winning. So it's I don't envy the Texas.
All the I'm sorry, Jim. All the cameos on Mikey Bird's camera is completely
there's
fucking
just not, there's like howling
Children,
dogs in the distance, and there's cats roaming through the shot. This is just insane.
Are you
the weather's going to change
Mike?
and he's indoors.
This would be like lightning, like just in the background.
Like, you want to say something? You want to defend yourself? Yeah.
But that is where I can't think of any better spot to leave the college football playoff.
Cat got your tongue there, Jim.
Well played.
I see what you did there, sir.
But so let's go to the final game. A journey that started 4 months ago, hundreds of games ago, comes down to one game. It is Monday. It is 7:30 Eastern time on all of the networks of ESPN and ESPN Plus and ABC and basically I think anything the Disney ESPN world touches is going to be covering this game. It is from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the number 7 seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They are 14-1. They take on the number 8 seed Ohio State Buckeyes, 13-2. Ohio State, it opened at 9.5. It has come down to 8 as of now, an 8-point favorite. Your over-under is 45.5. We will get to predictions, but I kind of want to attack this in a little bit of a different way than just talking about the season. We've talked about both of these teams ad nauseum throughout the course of this season. So there's 2 questions for each team, and we will start here, and I'll start with Sean, and we'll go around the room that way this time. Sean, Notre Dame will lose this game if
Notre Dame will lose this game if Riley Leonard can't get the rushing part of his game going. I'm a little scared of that defensive middle, and I think if they force Riley to be one-dimensional, it changes that offense a ton. That for me would be a huge change of pace. And it forces kind of like, I was going to go with a more greater picture of like if Notre Dame kind of loses their stamp, like the stamp that they've put on every game, and like what has become Notre Dame. Like if they kind of lose that image, they're in trouble. And I think if Riley can't get the wheels moving and Ohio State takes those away, I think that's going to get them out of that comfort zone.
All right, Matt, Notre Dame will lose if.
And I know this probably sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it didn't happen in the last game. If they lose the turnover battle this time through, there is 0% chance they're winning that football game.
All right, student of the game, Notre Dame will lose if.
Matt, I agree with you. While that's a typical stat in the football game, it's accented here. That's a good point by you. Notre Dame loses if they give up more than 3 plays of 20 yards or greater.
Okay. All right, Mikey B. Notre Dame will lose if.
Notre Dame will lose if the running game doesn't get established early, and that does not just include Riley Leonard. I think it involves the running backs to take some of the pressure off of Leonard to get his run game going. No, I don't expect the home run play in the first drive, but a couple of 5 or 6 yard runs to start drives to give 2nd and 4s and keeping the field to keep them out of the 3rd and long. I think that could be a key for Notre Dame. If they can't do that, we saw they hit the explosive plays against Penn State, but I don't know that it can happen 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame loses if they try to get into a shootout. They don't have that ability. I mean, they can get a big play here or there, but that's not what the marker of victory is for the 24-25 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's just not.
I think that is a cousin of what I'm saying, Jim. I'm with you.
Yeah. No, I agree. Mike, I'll start with you. We'll go the other direction this time. Ohio State will lose if
they will lose if the Notre Dame defense is able to shut down the number 1 and number 2 receiving options for Ohio State. Because if you can make them a one-dimensional team where they have to run the ball to stay in a football game, I think Notre Dame's defense will be able to contain that, and I think that's going to be the key.
Student of the game, Ohio State will lose if
Ohio State will lose if to start the 4th quarter the game is within less than a touchdown.
The Michigan defense.
Correct.
Matt, Ohio State will lose if
we know Notre Dame can run the ball. If Notre Dame's passing attack is anything above just average, then Ohio State will lose the game.
Balanced offense. Okay.
Like that. Sean, Ohio State will lose if
Ohio State will lose this game if they cannot stop the run. I know it kind of piggybacks off the Riley Leonard piece, but I think the running game in general, like anyone taking a ball across the line of scrimmage, if that defensive line can't stop them, Ohio State's not going to win this game.
Yeah, I think Ohio State will lose if they try to out-heart Notre Dame. Similar to a game at the end of November. If you don't kind of...
Which one's that, Jim?
I'll let you do the imagination on that one. Yeah, but I think when you and we talked about it in a little bit in the last segment is if you aren't going to be the finesse, speed, playmaking team, maybe Lou Holtz was right a couple of years ago and just got to the end of the book a little bit earlier than expected. That you're not going to out physical this team. So yeah, I think that's going to be Ohio State's problem. On the other hand, Sean, we'll start with you. We'll go same direction for this one. Notre Dame will win if.
By the way, I fully appreciate that you've set this up with asking like Notre Dame will lose, but also how Ohio State will win, that they're two different questions. So I think that's solid money. Now, Notre Dame will win if they, and it's kind of the opposite of what Matt said earlier. If Notre Dame wins the turnover battle, Notre Dame will win this football game.
All right, Matt, Notre Dame will win
if they get consistent pressure on the quarterback defensively. Notre Dame can impact that game to the point they start making mistakes and they can win.
All right, student of the game, Kyle Nash. Notre Dame will win if.
I think Matt's point is step 2. Step 1 will be they have to rush for over 200 yards. Keep the ball out of the hands of that offense first, limit the attempts, and then make those quality attempts matter on defense where they get those sacks or turnovers.
We're good. Mikey B, Notre Dame will win if.
Notre Dame will win if they complete the tackle. The explosive offense of Ohio State, those guys get through of an arm tackle, they can go. You got to wrap guys up. You got to get multiple hats on the football. Do not let them make that explosive play.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great point. All great points there. Notre Dame will win if their defense forces turnovers. In their most successful games this year, if you look back over it, their defense changed football games. If you look at their most successful games in this postseason, their defense, forced turnovers. And I know the Georgia point spread, and if you really look at how the game finished, Georgia game closer, Penn State game closer than the opening round matchup actually was. You didn't need your defense to be that unit against Indiana. You needed them against Georgia. You needed them against Penn State, and they showed up in the biggest moments. I think they'll need that again. All right, Mikey B, we'll go to you. Ohio State will win if.
Ohio State will win if Will Howard doesn't take unnecessary sacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Even throwing the ball away, even dump offs to the running backs where they only gain a yard or two. He's known to try to hold the football to try to hit the home run to the explosive wide receivers.
Yeah.
The Notre Dame defensive ends have played very well in the playoffs. I think that's the thing here. Take the yardage where you can get it. You ain't going to hit the home run every time. Sometimes a single will be just as good as hitting the home run.
All right, student of the game, Ohio State will win if.
By the way, further accenting my point, Mike, about Notre Dame running the ball and keeping the ball out of Will Howard's hands. If they do that, that'll make him edgy to make the mistake you're talking about. I like how you enunciated that. For me, Ohio State wins if they go into the fourth quarter up by 11 or more.
Okay. Matt, Ohio State will win
if they take Notre Dame as an opponent seriously. I think their their hiccups this year have been when they just kind of went in knowing they're the better team, knowing they have the more talent, and they didn't have to prepare for it. Like Kyle likes to bring up, the Northern Illinois game for Notre Dame. If you overlook your opponent, you see what happens. And I think Ohio State has a tendency of knowing the amount of talent they have on that roster and just assuming that they're going to go in and dominate. And if they don't do that, I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I still think one of the greatest stories that ever be told, if Notre Dame can find a way to win this game, is to find out what Northern Illinois coach told Marcus Freeman was how he knew he could beat them. Because that's got to be a wild a bunch of words there. But Sean, Ohio State will win if.
Ohio State will win if speed prevails. If the speed on the outside of that offense can get behind defensive backs, and if they can do it quick enough that the sacks don't even show themselves, if that speed gets into the defensive backfield and starts breaking off huge chunks, Notre Dame's going to have a real hard time, and that's the easiest recipe for Ohio State to win.
Yeah, I think in similar ways, and it brings up PTSD. I can feel my hands sweating a little bit just even conjuring it up. Is Ohio State wins if they take Notre Dame out of their game. In Notre Dame's previous college football playoff appearances, in Notre Dame's previous BCS national championship appearance, their opponents took them out of their game immediately, and Notre Dame could never recover from it. So if Ohio State can do that to Notre Dame, that's a recipe. Because even in a game where you're down 10-0, you're down 10-3, the message was, don't panic, don't change what we do. If Ohio State can get you to change what we do, that's going to be a problem.
Right. A fast 20 points changes that pretty quick.
Sure does. Does. So we've seen that.
We don't want that.
We do not want that. We've been there. We don't need that. We don't want that. But let's now go to the actual predictions. Again, 8-point favorite for Ohio State. 45.5 is your over under. Mikey B, I will start again with you. What happens Monday night in Atlanta?
Monday night in Atlanta will be a fun one. It'll be one that I will have my phone on the Jim Big James niece text message thread, because I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like at points in that game, I had to talk him off the ledge.
You did. You did.
And
I was not in a good spot.
You were not. I know that. And
well played, Kyle. That sound you heard was Ernest crashing through the wall.
Yep.
So what I will say here, especially after the turnover where Jim said this is it. Fuck this. Fuck football. Fuck everything else. And I told him, one stop for the rest of your life. And it happened, and it worked. And I'm gonna parlay it. I'm gonna take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm gonna take them plus the points. I'm gonna take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win the football game.
Wow.
Because of one reason and one reason only. If there's a head coach that I want coaching my team on that stage, it's fucking Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is the difference maker in this game.
Marcus
Freeman
That's right.
is the reason why they win the national title on Monday night. I will also take the over.
All right, in the over. Ernest, DJ Christian, how we doing?
How are you doing? I'm good.
Good.
My kids are running me out though. Is that loud? I'm talking low too. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. We like it that
way.
Yeah. How you doing, Sean?
Sometimes a battle.
I was doing great.
Yeah, it's okay.
Before you continue, Ernest, my wife over here, because everybody else has walked in on my conversation.
Why is she annoying me?
My dad. She goes, "Oh, it's Van Man."
Yeah.
She did say earlier, no Van Man.
There was no Van Man. Now there's a Van Man.
You know, Kyle. Fuck you.
The fuck did I do?
Which
Van thinks they're going to feud. Fucking 5 years ago.
Kyle just sat there.
You.
Which for us, it's normally like, oh, Van Man.
Are you playing
Ernest,
Enter? Are you playing Enter Van Man in your van right now?
Don't hurt your neck.
I never knew I was going to play metal on fucking kazoo.
I did not
Here we
expect
are,
to hear
boys.
Metallica on a kazoo today.
No,
That's right.
What?
Of all the things that you could have told
Come on,
me,
meet Kyle, Sean. Here you go. Boom.
I was going to hear today. That was not one of them.
You're welcome.
Ernest,
What
we
can
are
I
in the
say except you're welcome?
We are in the midst of
He's in it for the money.
previewing
He's in it for the money, though. So
shut up. We are in the midst of previewing the national championship. We were doing so well.
It was going smooth.
I was listening to everything. Relax. I know where we're at.
All right, we got Notre Dame. We got Ohio State, who is an 8-point favorite. 45.5 is your over/under. Ernest, what happens Monday in Atlanta?
I'm trying to find reasons. I hate these fucking teams. I really do. I hate both these teams. I'm trying to find reasons to root for Notre Dame.
And he had to log in just to say it.
Yeah, I'll root for Notre Dame because of Jim. But
Come on, Mr. Unbiased. We're looking for analysis, not who you're rooting
I want
for.
Ohio State because of Matt. Because the Eagles win this year too. On top of that, I can have Matt and Sean have the Eagles and the fucking Irish win titles in within a month. That's not happening. Hell no.
Look, for the long path we've been on, we absolutely could have both.
I feel like I'm the least obnoxious, like, in victory fan that there is, and I don't know why EJ's like.
You would be wrong.
When have I ever like gloated about anything?
Actually trying to act like the quarterbacks going down to the fourth string had nothing to do with the Eagles' victories.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right,
but I didn't like throw it in your face.
No. You know what it is, though? You know what it is, though? And Matt, I do love you, right? I love you, do. But it's the smugness. It's a smugness.
That's his delivery, man.
It's the delivery. I know what it is.
BJ, despite sitting on a fence and rooting for one team for Jim and another team for someone else, which side are you going to be facing at the end of the game? That's my question.
Marcus Freeman's my dude. That's why I root for Notre Dame, because Marcus Freeman.
Good job, Irish.
He reminds me of Obama, for the record. But honestly,
what?
He does. Shut up.
Oh my
God. Anyway, you say so, dude.
Yeah, he does.
And you remind me of Mr. Woodchuck.
All right. Anyway, no, real talk though. Look, Notre Dame has a chance to win this game. They have a really good chance. But they to me, the problem is they got to play perfect football. And I just like I like Ohio State. I like Ohio State still. I mean, it just they've been. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Homer.
Move on to the next person now.
Ohio State in the points. And I'll take let me see what I have written here real quick. I'll take a slight over.
Perfect.
Here's the game. What happens Monday in Atlanta?
First of all, the over is the bet, in my opinion. Slight or otherwise. Listen, for me, I got this feeling. Notre Dame's strength goes right into the strength of Ohio State's defense. That's problematic. So for me, it's, say what you will. I am 3 weeks straight picking the Irish I am 2 weeks straight picking against the SEC. Something had to give. And now I have to go back to being called a hater for the sake of good analysis. I would rather not see Ohio State win this football game, but I think this show will be insufferable next Tuesday if Notre Dame wins it. So, no, joking aside,
Might be either way.
It will be insufferable. You got to write first.
Shut the fuck up. No,
fuck off. No, for real. It'll be insufferable next week.
But no, I have Ohio State winning. I think they clear the spread. Mikey Byrne is doing Mikey Byrne things with his risky and brave pick. This is not the Lions against the Chiefs, though, in this particular instance. Yeah, I feel like Ohio State kind of has that team of destiny thing. This is the group that won the first playoff the last time the playoff format changed and all of that. This is not me dissing Marcus Freeman. I think he's done a fantastic job. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, Matt, what happens Monday in Atlanta?
I really do think that ultimately Ohio State's talent, I've mentioned the $30 million that they've spent on that roster a few times. Eventually that money is going to have to be earned, and I think ultimately that will happen. But for the sake of myself, I can't pick against my team, so give me Notre Dame, give me the over.
Homer.
And Matt, by the way, you could. You just choose not to.
Homer.
We have choices in life. You chose to pick Notre Dame.
I choose to support my team. Yes, that's correct.
Coming from the guy who picks all of his teams.
47 teams.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weight that he
Work
can't
smarter, not harder, Kyle.
It's smarter to support 47 teams at once?
Well,
how much is the casino paying you?
The numbers bear out, buddy.
The house always wins.
Not financially responsible.
Sean, what happens Monday night in Atlanta?
Well, I think the actual storyline is going to be somewhat similar to the Orange Bowl. I feel like Ohio State's going to come out. Notre Dame's going to get a feel, and Ohio State's going to take an early small lead. And I think it's going to be one of those things where Notre Dame's going to have to put their stamp on it, and they're going to have to keep running the ball, and they're going to have to get a feel on defense. And I think they settle in, and they win the middle eight. And I am going with Mike here. I'm going to take Notre Dame, especially with 8 points. But I'm going to take them to win outright. And I think Vegas wants you all to think the over is the obvious bet. Throughout the playoffs, I have watched two great defensive fronts. I think these are two very good secondaries. And I think, when push comes to shove and both teams settle in the second half, scoring is going to be at a premium, much like in the Texas game and even in the Penn State game. I feel both games were very similar to what we're going to see on Monday. I'm going to take a slight under, and defense prevails, which helps Notre Dame, and Notre Dame wins.
I think
Homer.
What did you think I was going to pick, Kyle?
Hey, I'm just prompting
give me the Buckeyes.
producer.
Like thinking about saying the words "give me the Buckeyes" makes me want to throw up next to my
Real
chair.
talk, though, Sean.
I would do it. There's a dog over here that I don't even like.
Well, I think more of it too is to understand that the producer might be the lucky person to guess his pick, and I'm prompting him to remember to hit the homer button, so his finger's right there when he does his pick as well. Sean. It's not all about you.
Well,
at least Matt teased Ohio State's probably going to win, but for the sake of you went straight in and say fuck it, homer, boom.
For the record, Kyle is our
sheer homer pick there. That was pretty good.
But for the record, Kyle is our unofficial soundboard. Ernest calling you a homer, that's what more I'd be pissed off about, because that guy's got 97 homes.
That is fair.
Good investment, though.
That is fair.
Sorry.
I love those.
Checking in the comments there.
Hey.
Mr. Nades, how you doing?
So,
what's up, Mike?
Yeah. The 8 points. The 8 points, the opening line of 9.5 pretty much felt kind of disrespectful, if I'm being totally honest about it.
I felt the same way.
And hopefully that number was just put up on the walls in the Goog all week. I think that's
I'd have hung the number 8.
Yeah,
right
without
in the locker room.
9.5, 9, 8, 8.5. When you look at the ESPN predictor, I know I went over this on the show with some of the matchups last week. It has Ohio State at 54.5. Yeah, this is going to be Notre Dame's biggest challenge of the year, without question. Especially the way Ohio State has played over the last month. I don't think there's any question that it's going to be a challenge given the 16 starters who have been hurt this year and guys who are still hurt, and you're a mash unit on your offensive line and your defensive line and your secondary, and you're playing true freshmen in the secondary that
But enough about the 49ers. Sorry.
wouldn't have seen probably wouldn't have seen the field a lot this year if Brandon Morrison played the entire year. But this is the reality. This is where we're at, and they keep finding ways to do it. I think at the very least Notre Dame covers 8. I think that is at least the target. And I think if you look at the mindset of a game that happened on November 30th, the team had a goal to be within a touchdown going into the fourth quarter. And I think Kyle brought up this similar point, talking about Notre Dame will win if you have that close margin going into the fourth quarter. And if you win the middle 8, all of these things that Notre Dame has been doing all postseason, I think is what they do. The key for Notre Dame's victory is going to be keeping the under. I agree with Sean. Control the clock. Run the ball. Be Notre Dame. Don't be anybody else. Be
200 yards rushing.
200 yards rushing, like Kyle said. Run the ball. Control the clock. Keep Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka off the field. Keep those running backs off the field. Don't let Will Howard get to you. Like when he plays, he can sling the ball. So just don't let him do it. Keep your defense fresh. I'm taking the under. I'm taking Notre Dame to cover. I am obviously taking Notre Dame to win this game. There was no question that I was going to pick Notre Dame.
Oh my God, no! I'm so surprised.
Right. Oh
no!
Like,
I was surprised. Were you guys surprised?
Delete the pick you had written down for me.
I'll say this much. I would rather see an Irish national title than
EJ, stop talking.
the Super Bowl.
Shut up.
Seriously.
You took Ohio State. You're done.
I don't need Sean. By the way, nice shirt, Sean. And
you've already gone over this. We get it. You don't want us to be happy. Blah blah.
I rather. I want to see double.
Kyle, you got that popcorn? Kyle, you got that popcorn?
Where's the popcorn at?
Damn it! I forgot to pop. Oh, thank you, Jim. Go ahead. Keep going, EJ.
Yeah. Anyway, so
shut the fuck up.
Rather see fucking Irish. Good luck to you, Jim. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
I made my line in the sand and I marked my spot on the other, but I really like the other side a lot. I really like that.
You don't sit on the fence at all.
6 green toes down.
I can't imagine going shopping with EJ. I really like the green one. I'm going to go with the green one. I love the red one.
No, Sean, you ain't lying, though. I'm pretty frustrated with that kind of shit.
And he's like putting on the green one. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to get both. I'm just going to get both.
Honestly, no, dude, don't lie. Picking his shirt did the same. I was like,
as a former salesman, you'd have been the gold mine because I'm like, why don't you just get both?
In half and sews them together.
The fence sitter just looks over and goes, I like that.
He's got like 6 iPhones because he couldn't decide on the color.
I just hear like somebody in the back. We got a mark. Just that'd be easy.
Since he picked Ohio State, does this mean he's only 4 green toes down for this football game, gentlemen?
Yes, that sounds.
He has no green toes left. Jordan Love ruined all of those.
Sticking with you guys for the second half of the program. I'm just turning the screen off because I'm taking you guys mobile. We're going to another room, so I'm still on the show. I'm just not going to have a screen for a couple.
All right, let's transition to the NFL, and we will. We'll get to the divisional weekend predictions. We'll get to our power rankings, but real quick, and I do kind of want to do this rapid fire. We spent a lot of time in the college world. Obviously, a big week and a big weekend coming up.
Rightly so.
For college football. But
rightly so.
Real quick, kind of rapid fire. If anybody has any quick takeaways from Wild Card Weekend, let's hear them before we get to the predictions.
First takeaway is Justin Herbert couldn't get any more unlucky with a couple of those interceptions, hitting people right in the hands and then being like, oh, I'm sorry. Here, Mr. Texan, you take this and run the other way. We all, and I'm pretty sure everybody that was on the show last week left Houston for dead and we're like, wow, there's no way this team's going to find a way.
And rightly so.
Correct. And they found a way to win a football game. Kudos to those guys. My other takeaway, and then I'll step back. Don't let the Rams get hot.
Holy fuck.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. They look real good. EJ, any quick takeaways from Wild Card Weekend?
Oh, God, so many. Fucking Herbert. We have a conversation about Herbert. We have a conversation about Tomlin.
Quick. Takeaways.
Sam, shut up, Matthew. Sam Darnold costs a lot of money. I mean, a lot of shit. I mean, where do you start? Hey, the Rams are dangerous. All I'm going to say about that.
Why don't you just plug Earnestly Speaking, where somebody was intelligently talking about these things?
That's your job.
Like
We'll
me.
do that. You can do that now.
Wait, Kyle, were you on the show? Because you said intelligently.
Oh, let's see. Now you got all the clues in question. Yes, I was. Well done, sir.
Wow, that was just quick.
It's so goddamn rude.
It's so goddamn true.
Let's go. Mikey Bird voice acting and shit.
That's good. That's good.
That is so goddamn true.
Student game, quick takeaways from Wild
My takeaway, and I'll make it a quick one. I told you, Cats, all year long, I don't give a shit if they had 14 wins, even though Mike gave less of a shit because he didn't want to have anything to do with the Vikings on the end of the year's NFL awards show. Check that out on the Student of the Game, by the way. But I always told you I had my doubts about the Vikings long term. And EJ, Christian, and I both said if the Rams get hot. But damn, and you were on the board too.
Only guy that took the Rams out of us to win this match.
I wasn't brave enough. So you're right. Listen, it was just like the fucking Lions and the Chiefs to open previous season, man. I get it. I wasn't brave enough, but I did acknowledge it was on the board. But Jesus Christ, I didn't think the Rams would flip the fucking board over. Okay, this is what happens with the Vikings. It's a thing they do. And as I said on EJ Christian's show, the Viking logo needs to shave its beard, dye its hair browner, and change that helmet to a 10-gallon hat. Boom, Cowboys. There we go.
Matt, quick takeaways from Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, we heard a lot of chatter from Vikings fans and the Chargers fans, and NFL was possibly looking into changing the playoff format to allow the better records to host the playoff game. If you want that to happen, then you need to show up when it matters, and neither team did. Keep the format the same.
Yep.
Bingo.
Agreed.
I love it.
One caveat.
Scrap all of what I just said.
No losing team.
That was good.
No losing team should host a game. That is what I'd push back with.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's an anomaly.
Okay.
So.
Not really.
Sean, quick takeaways from Wild Card Weekend.
All right. Well, one takeaway was Sam Darnold is who he thought he was. Just throwing that out there, man.
We thought they were.
But also, McVay continues to be a mad genius. You know, I picked him apart for resting his starters.
They are who we thought they were.
Bringing the Vikings to town and not settling, not getting the Commanders. And then what happens? That he wins his game, the Bucs lose theirs. And down here in this part of the country, I'll tell you this: if you didn't believe in Jaden Daniels before, you best believe in him now.
Welcome to the party, pal.
That kid came to play. Just an absolutely spectacular time. And I think the cream has risen. I think minus the sad Houston Texans waddling into Arrowhead. I think beyond that, we see pretty much who we've had at the top of the NFL. So the other takeaway is that the cream is rising, and at the end, the next round, you should see potentially the four best teams playing for the Super Bowl. So that's my other big takeaway, is that it's settling nicely. It's just taking a while.
Disagree. I think two of the best teams
Matt,
playing
say
each other.
Shut the fuck up, BJ. I'm doing a wrestling impression for the wrestling people so they can hype up the 3 Count Thursday show. Because you don't even do wrestling shows anymore. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he said
Are you drunk?
Rising to the top.
He's not drunk.
He's not drunk.
God damn it! You.
I like that.
Fuck you, you
just have that
interrupting
effect on people,
motherfucker.
EJ.
No, Matt, were you going to say that because of the Ravens Bills game?
Correct.
Yep, there you go. Totally agree with you.
I'm not that too. Take that off.
Yeah, I know.
My biggest, I've kind of two. One, kudos to the Arizona Cardinals staff and stadium staff and everything to get that stadium ready, kind of make it look as best you can like a Rams home game, and everything they did to get the teams there on a short week. Again, our thoughts with the people of California dealing with just unimaginable horror with the wildfires. So our thoughts continue to be with them and the firefighters and everybody out there. But the other one, and whether it's the quarterback, whether it's assistant coaches, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, it's the head coach. Pittsburgh Steelers, in probably the very short term, be it this offseason or next, may have some really hard decisions to start making because it's no disrespect to a really, really good head coach. Sometimes being great in the regular season isn't enough, but that we can tackle more in the off season.
We're talking about the Vikings still. Oh, the Steelers.
well, that too. But yeah, we will press on as we go into divisional weekend in the National Football League. 8 teams remain in the National Football League, and we will start appropriately as the Houston Texans usually do on a Saturday afternoon. This one 4:30 Eastern time on ESPN/ABC. It's number 4 seed Houston Texans. They are 11-7. They travel to the number 1 seed off the bye, 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs, your 2-time defending champions. Had to get in there for EJ before he had to say it. They are an 8-point home favorite. 41.5 is your over/under. Sean, we'll start with you.
Man, they do not think anyone's going to score points.
At least one team.
At least one team won't score any points. Yeah, I've 8 points is a lot, but I think it has to be. The Texans did better than I thought they would. I did not think that was going to be a good showing for them at all. I don't even think it was a Harbaugh thing. I think it was just I thought the Texans were going to come in and fizzle out, and they played good defense, and I think they'll continue to play good defense. But I think the Chiefs are just going to be too much for them. I think there's a turnover or two in the Chiefs' favor that either set up points or pick sixes. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover that 8, and I think they do it winning the turnover battle. And 41.5, I guess I'll take the over, especially if we're getting free points off turnovers. Give me the over on the 41.
I mean, to be fair, Sean, in the points department, at least as the defending champs go, 30 points or more only twice, and it was the even number 30. So, and as Kyle's pointed out all season, they are a defensive squad.
Not enough. All the previous 2 seasons
as well. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's why I almost gave Houston the points because the Chiefs don't win by 8, but this time they're gonna.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree with Big Dick Devin here and go with the Chiefs minus the 8 and take the under there. I think the defense of the Chiefs is going to be too much for the Texans and their depleted wide receiver core. And the defense, while they did nice against the Chargers, I don't think they'll get as much ball luck this time.
So I know we've touched on the Chiefs and their point differential throughout the season at just plus 59 as a 15-2 squad. The Houston Texans, probably the most baffling of any of them, a 0. They have scored the same number of points that they gave up in the regular season.
Well, going into last week, the Rams were in the negative. I saw that going into last week's game, so I was really baffled.
Yeah, they were minus 19 on the regular season. Yeah, wow.
Crazy.
Student of the game.
First, before I get started, the point differential I think will happen. I'm going to invite special guest analyst Billy Bob from the movie Varsity Blues.
Billy Bob.
Hold on. I'm not going to be able to find it. Wait.
Fucking 10.
There it is.
It's 10.
Who wants to play?
Damn it. Because I know this is the one that...
10. A fucking 10.
That's your point differential for this game. So I am obviously taking the Chiefs to cover. The big play here, under, gentlemen. The play is the under. All we hear all over the place is how bad the Texans' offensive line is, and also we do it by way of anybody who covers the Texans. Shouts to the Texans 22 podcast, my dude VT. Chris Jones is going to murder these cats. Straight up. The student of the game, defensive player of the year, is going to make the difference. Patrick Lavon Mahomes II survives eventually because if you have the ball that long, you're going to stumble into some points to Travis Michael Kelsey and somebody else. So, yeah. Give me the Chiefs to cover and the under. Devin, with his pick right here, nailing it like Ron Jeremy.
EJ.
It's funny to Kyle's point because all the games this weekend all went under. So that's the trend. And that, yeah, I look at 41.5. I'm like, God damn it, dude. Can you at least get 42? Is it possible?
42 is not the answer to everything in the universe.
I agree. But you know, I'm gonna go against Kyle on this one. I'm gonna take the over on this. I'm gonna take a slight over on this one just because fuck Vegas.
Nailed it.
And but yeah,
Who
the easy
does
bet here.
42 work for?
but
Las Vegas.
the easy bet here, the best bet here is the Chiefs. Obviously, I know it's tempting to take the Texans the points here because their defense played well last week and whatnot. But this is the Chiefs' time to shine. This is the time of year. So they'll find a way to cover eight points. Maybe the Chiefs shaking the over. Yes, my team.
More, Jim.
Championship pedigree, baby.
Oh, God.
Homer.
It's not even a pedigree, dumbass.
Get your mouth shut.
Mikey B.
I'm so fucking glad he took the fucking Chiefs in the over because now I feel so much better. Give me the goddamn Houston Texans plus the points and give me the under. Because here's the deal. Defensive player of the year, Chris Jones, the best defensive player in the game of football, probably should get MVP votes. Let's be very transparent about that. We've talked about that.
Some of us have talked about that on the Student of the Game pod.
Yeah, yes, we have. But I will leave it at this. While those votes will also take place, here's the deal. The Chiefs aren't scoring the way they have the last 2 years.
They're not going to
Cool, they got Hollywood. They got Hollywood Brown. Don't worry, he'll stub his toe midway through the first quarter and be out with turf toe.
Oh my
That guy can't stay healthy if his life depended on it. I'm supposed to be scared of him? Pass. Texans, under. Book it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, I would love nothing more than the Houston Texans to pull this one off. I don't see it this week. Whether or not
I'm rooting for it because I want a really smug fucking Tuesday show next week. I want him crying because not only did Matt win a national title, but his savior and his Holy Spirit gets to sit at home and watch the AFC title game.
No. Tom Brady's retired.
No bad.
Thank you.
It's okay. Freeman's his
Tom
boy, and he loves Jaden Daniels, and he'll just come up with something.
He'll find out other stuff.
But
like I said, Sean McVay's my boy. You know,
This is what I'm rooting for. This is what I'm rooting for. As long as he wins this week, I don't give a fuck.
That's what you want.
Bills.
That would be Lamar Demetrius Jackson. He held up for the podcast edition.
No,
yes.
sorry. Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
I actually think that the Chiefs cruise pretty easily. Not something they normally do this season, but they'll do it this week. Sorry, Texans. Thanks for eliminating Jim Harbaugh. You can go back to Houston. Hey, just rest your hat on the fact you're the best NFL team in the state of Texas right now. There you go. Congratulations.
I think the Longhorns are better. Anyway.
Debatable.
A&M.
Not saying much.
Chiefs plus, but I will take an under because I don't see points coming from the other side. All right, and then we go to Saturday night, 8:00 Eastern time on Fox. It is the number 6 seed and 13-5 Washington Commanders. They travel to, again, off the bye, the number 1 seed, 15-2 Detroit Lions. They are a 9.5-point home favorite. Your over-under is 55.5. Sean.
Well, Jaden Daniels has made a living this season on not making mistakes. And I think that's going to continue for a little while. But eventually the Lions are going to force him to make them. And I think the Lions are going to win this game. However, 9.5 points is a ridiculous amount of points. And I know Detroit's been killing people. And I know that they've been mowing teams down. I don't think they mow the Washington Commanders down. I think the Commanders are going down, but I think that they're going to put up one heck of a fight before they do. I think the defense makes one of their better stands, and they're going to put everything they can. And I think Jaden Daniels keeps right up with Mr. Goff, and it's close. So I'm going to take the Commanders to lose but win on the points. And at 55.5, you couldn't pay me to take the under in this game. 55.5 is going to get surpassed in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Give me the over.
So, because I have it on the ready here. The Eagles number 2 point differential in the league, 160. The Lions number 1 at plus 222 on the year.
It's insane.
That's ridiculous, man.
Now they had a few games that really.
There was a couple that were like
one of them you could see on Fans First Sports Network. That write-up and that breakdown on the Duval Dive as well, because it was the Jacksonville Jaguars, Fans First Sports Network.
All right,
there's a recipe for inflating that stat. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And the Titans.
Well, the AFC South, right? In general, right?
In general.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, the over is the definite play here. I think it's going to be a shootout between both of these teams. I do like the Commanders plus the points. I feel like what we're going to see is the Lions will be up 7, and they could kick a field goal to go up 10 and give the ball back to the Commanders, and instead, Man Campbell goes for it, gets it on 4th down, and just runs out the clock. And we see the Commanders cover that. So give me the Commanders plus the points.
If Jaden wants to go ahead and win this, he can. I just want to put that out there. If Jaden wants to win this one, go ahead and take the Lions down. That's fine by me.
Do the game.
Yeah, give me the Red Tails. Sorry, Commanders to cover. I think this becomes a straight up shootout. I think the injuries matter for the Lions. Yeah, they've had a little time to recover, but they're still not at full strength. At the end of the day, Sonic and Knuckles will both be running. I think they'll do a lot on offense. I think Jaden Daniels will do Jaden Daniels things. All the stuff we're talking about at day's end. Give me the cover for the Red Tails. They lose the game, but also give me the over in the points.
All right, EJ.
So this game will be a competitive game. I think it'll be competitive. But I think ultimately Detroit will cover late, same way Denver and Buffalo played out during the game, and then Buffalo covers late. So give me the Lions to cover. And dude, I should take the over, man. But I'm gonna go opposite way. I'm gonna go under here. I think I get a slight under.
Feel really good about this bet now.
Yeah, I know. Well, the best bet is Detroit, in my opinion. So,
Mikey B.
Well, Kyle mentioned it. Sonic and Knuckles are back, and what do? Collect gold coins. Well, what are the gold coins for those two gentlemen? Points. Points will be scored by the billion. The over is the easiest play on the entire slip all week. I'm glad Ernest took the under. I feel comfortable. That being said,
you do.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm glad I got your seal of approval there, bud. I'm taking Sonic and Knuckles. I'm going to take the Lions minus the points. I think they win this game. I think they're going to be one of those teams that's up 10 and Man Campbell goes for it on 4th and 1 from like the 40 where they're like, but is it really cool that he went for it on 4th down up by 2 possessions when you could have punted him the ball back? So, yeah, 4th quarter Man Campbell, 4th down Man Campbell. Give me the Lions and the over.
Yeah, Lions definitely starting to get healthier using the bye week to their advantage. Still without Kevin Zeitler, Pat O'Connell, and Ennis Rakestraw. But Anzalone's back, Terrion Arnold's back, David Montgomery's back, Jack Campbell's back. So, yeah, using the bye week to the best of their ability. 9.5 is a lot of points. I'm going to take Washington on a slight cover of that. I think we're looking at touchdown-ish. I think they'll be able to make it close. Lions do win this game, and I will also take the over. I think we are going to see a lot of points here. Devin has the Lions and the under in this one. And then let's move now to Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern time on NBC. It is the number 4 seed Los Angeles Rams. They are 11-7 on the year. They travel to the number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles, 15-3, who are a 6.5 point home favorite. 44.5 is your over under, Sean.
Well, McVay is the magic man, but he's out of tricks. I don't think it's gonna work here. I think McVay pulled his magic show. He's gonna keep it close for a while, but if the Eagles only need a touchdown to cover the spread, I'm gonna take Philadelphia to cover. I think Saquon Barkley had a field day the last time he played against McVay.
Homer.
And I think that Saquon Barkley has another one. So give me Philadelphia here, and at 44.5. Man, that's tough because I think Stafford's going to have a hard time. I'm going to take a slight under in this game. I don't like it. I don't like the over-under on this game at all. I feel like they've put this at a real tough spot for me. So, but I think the number 1 defense in the NFL prevails, and the Eagles aren't going to need to really push the score up, so I'm going to take a slight under.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this game will be interesting. I think we saw two teams that kind of did just enough. I mean, the Rams looked a lot more convincing in their win, but you saw them take the foot off the gas a little bit in that second half there, offensively at least. And the Eagles just kind of maintain status quo, it looked like. So it's tough to really get a read on, what either team is going to show up and do with this. That said, I'll take the Eagles to win by a touchdown. I'll take the over on this. I could see like a 27-20 win when all is said and done.
All right, student of the game.
We're not talking enough about the Eagles' defense on this. I think the Eagles' defensive front makes the difference in this game, and I think it's. Yeah, well, I don't think we're talking enough about it even still, though. And not just you, Sean. I mean, all over the place with the playoffs. Like, we're not talking about it enough as a sports media community. You did your job, and I appreciate that, Sean. What I'm saying is, my brother, they're going to be the difference here. Old man, John Matthew Stafford is going to get a little bit roughed up. I feel like. Will he leave the game? Probably not, because he's John Matthew Stafford. Being said, if Cooper Kupp gets a little bit hot, that's going to be a problem. Give me Philly to cover, because if they're going to win the football game, it's going to be by more than a touchdown. If it's close, I think it's a game that the Rams sneak out. Avoid the over-under for this at all costs. This game could go literally anywhere. That being said, if you truly are a degenerate, let me take the
You're nothing but a degenerate.
Let me take the slight over.
All right.
Yeah, take your pick.
Do we know the weather of this game? The
cold.
By any chance?
Cold.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Cold, obviously. But is it mean snow?
I think there may be a chance of some winter weather. I'm pulling that up now.
Because if so, then it's Philly all day. I mean, but if the weather is doable, I look. The only
right now the forecast is mostly cloudy, high near 39. So
okay.
So no winter weather to speak of necessarily.
All right. So yeah. The best chance Rams win this game is a force shootout. Put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, because if Saquon has the ball, it's over. They're not going to be able to stop Saquon. That line is going to do this job, and it's all over there. I do think they'll try to put it into a shootout and force Jalen Hurts to be the guy to beat him. Look, Eagles probably win this game, but I think if the weather is decent by Sunday afternoon, I'll take the Rams on the points, and I will take a slight over just based on the weather. Otherwise, I would have gone the other way, but give me a slight over.
Jesus
All right,
Christ,
so
he
Rams
sat
over
on the
makes me
fence
feel
like
great.
8 times in that.
It's okay.
Well, he doesn't even get on the fence for the first 2 minutes. He peeks over it, and then he goes through a gate in the fence, and then peeks over the other side.
Thank you, Sean. I got to assess situation, look, and
he climbs up there, finds a comfortable perch, and then talks about the weather on both sides.
Yeah.
And then he gets down, and he's like, I don't even like that fence. That's the best. So he'll get down and be like, I don't even like that fence. I'm gonna go back in my van.
This fence is bullshit.
I hate this fence.
It hurts.
Mikey B.
I really feel bad about my pick now because fucking fence sitter boy over here.
Oh, Jesus
fucking
Christ,
took
the
all of
clock
it.
in.
Don't let him impact you.
He flops onto my picks all the time by accident.
Yeah, you're right. He does. He's like a fucking gefilte fish.
Gefilte fish? What just happened?
I don't know what that was.
You're welcome. That being said, I'm going to take John Matthew Stafford and the Rams plus the points. I am going to take the over because here's the deal. You sit here and tell me Kyron Williams is just as good of a running back. Is he Saquon Barkley? No, but he's pretty damn good.
He could.
He is.
Probably a top 5 running back in the national.
Running back, but he's not as good.
He's just as good of an option. You can't. Not everyone's going to have Saquon Barkley. There's one Saquon Barkley. There's 30 other running backs in the NFL.
I think serviceable is the term you're looking for.
Yeah, Joe Shane. Remember that guy? You fucking.
But he's also a really good pass catching back. He also makes things happen in the game that we're not talking about. That being said, I take the Rams plus the points, and I will take an over because the one thing that I think Ernest actually got right in his conversation was the Rams' mindset here has to be shootout.
Yeah, I agree. They have to come out and attack. Their defensive front looked really, really good. Now the Eagles' offensive line much better than Minnesota's. But that's going to be a critical battle there. Yeah, you're not going to win the game if you're the Rams and keeping it low scoring. So for me, I'm gonna take the Rams to cover slightly. I think the Eagles will win this game. And yeah, I think it is going to go a little bit over. I think that there's going to be moments for the Rams to attack, but ultimately, I think the Eagles are just too talented. They will pull away when the game is on the line in the fourth to get the win. Devin has the Eagles and the over. And then lastly, we go to Sunday, 6:30 Eastern time on CBS. It is the number 3 seed Baltimore Ravens. They are 13-5 on the year, a 1-point road favorite at the number 2 seed, 14-4 Buffalo Bills. 51.5 is your over under. Sean.
Yeah, I really gotta thank the NFL for that old 3-6 putting this game right at the kids' bedtime. Really excited for that.
For real, right?
Just gonna miss like the entire game. Really jacked up about that. Allen versus Lamar. This game is probably my favorite matchup of the week too, because I don't know which of my students is on this podcast, but I have a very loud Ian and a very loud Ivan in my second period class, and it is very Buffalo and very Baltimore. And I fully expect the next day, whoever wins that game, to be a very fun day because someone's just going to take a beating in second period, and it's going to be fun. So having said all that, I look at these two teams, and I think it's a tale of two teams going in opposite directions. I think the Buffalo Bills have been so high for so long, and Josh Allen has been so high for so long. And I don't think Allen's fallen off too far, but I think the team around him is showing some weather. And I think the defense is not as strong as it used to be. I think his offensive support system is under the weather or not healthy or just not as good as it has been. Whereas the Baltimore Ravens have now caught up to their leader and their quarterback, and that defense is playing at a level that it hasn't played at all year. I have to look at my spread again so I don't look like an idiot. Yeah, I'm going to take it's I knew it was going to be close. But I'm going to take Baltimore. At one point, practically a pick 'em. I'm going to take Baltimore. This game could have been a touchdown, and I would have taken Baltimore.
Wow.
I think Baltimore is going to win this. I don't think it's going to be overly close. It's going to be a touchdown or more, and I think your kind of new reigning AFC QB king to be, post Mahomes. Lamar Jackson is gonna show what he can do.
Yes, EJ, we know he's a quarterback.
And it's an over.
Matt.
It's an over. No doubt.
All right.
This is the easiest over-under of the week for me. This is over.
All right, very good. Matt.
I'm gonna go with the Bills this week. I think that the tear they've kind of been on lately has been a little bit more impressive in terms of some of the teams that they've beaten in these last few weeks. I'm seeing the Ravens played the Steelers twice, the Browns, the New York Giants, and the Bills had that impressive win over the Lions, and I think what they did against Denver was a good show too. So give me the Bills. I will take the over as well on this one.
All right, let's do the game.
And EJ and Kyle, right there is how you can have two complete opposite takes on the game, and no one got angry at each other. Matt and I are fine.
Yes,
I mean, I defended a team that I think is playing way better than the other, and Matt just went, well, Buffalo's playing way better than Baltimore. And I just was like, okay, well, I guess I'm an idiot.
Well, here's the thing, Sean, is you did it intelligently. EJ is incapable of doing that. Now,
okay, that's
I didn't say shit.
That is so goddamn rude.
You didn't say shit. You haven't shut up since you showed up here. What are you talking about?
That's my job to talk, buddy. Dickhead.
I picked my game. I'll sit back now.
So yeah, that being said, listen, I think this game is wildly close, and the Zay Flowers missing thing is huge for me, for Baltimore. It makes, I get it, Mark Andrews, and let's put it this way: will Isaiah get a catch from tight end? It's quite likely. But that being said, this is going to come down to Thank you. This is going to come down to Josh Allen and his performance, and does he kind of crack here? I don't think crack is the right word, but does he shrink here? I know for all the flack that Lamar
smoke crack.
The part that was great, Jim. The part that Lamar Demetrius Jackson struggles in playoff games is, I think, is a touch overblown. But this doesn't matter to me. This game's going to come down to two teams flexing the shit out of the run game, and one big play by a quarterback to somebody down the field at some point is going to bust it open. Golly, and I like the number for the over-under. Somebody in Vegas did their job. I know 51 does seem a bit high, but it could go just the other way. Am I stalling? Yes. Give me Baltimore on the road, even though I love the former Ralph Wilson Stadium as a home field. The under feels confident, especially if Derrick Henry gets going, keeps Josh Allen off the field. Let's see if their running game can cook in Buffalo. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
EJ.
Yeah, I know
the
vibe.
sequel not as good as the original there, Kyle.
Yeah.
I know the vibe on this game nationally is that to pick them, the one knows who to pick in this game. I'm with Sean here. I feel like the vibe. To me, I was being close.
Let's
go
hammer the Bills now.
No. I'm with Sean here, man. I think Baltimore wins this game and this game handily.
It's the optics, right, EJ?
That's part of it.
Like I said, hammer the Bills.
Let's not forget. They also played early in the year and they beat the shit out of them. So there is.
Yeah, let's not forget the Chiefs lost one game and it was the Buffalo Bills, asshole.
Hold on, let me finish talking. Shut the fuck up. Thank you.
No, you cut everybody else all night.
Shut up.
You're both pretty ladies. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so no, like I said, we have a reference point also too about the fact that this team's played back in week 5, week 4, what it was, and Baltimore beat the shit out of them. That's simple.
Zay Flowers played in that game.
I just think, is Zay out for this game?
Yes, I said that.
I don't know. Kyle said that 30 seconds ago.
It's a lot of shit though, so I don't know.
It's also in print and radio.
Kyle also filibustered that entire fucking. Yeah.
I did not filibuster. I gave you facts, asshole.
I don't think it matters, man. Honestly, I don't think it matters. I think Baltimore wins this game running away, honestly, by touchdown at least. Give me Baltimore win this game and give me the under actually as well.
All right, Mikey B.
God, I'm so glad I'm with fucking Matt on this one. Give me the goddamn Bills. I hope they shove it down their fucking throat. Fucking give me the Bills in the under. And no, it's not because I'm a fucking AFC North Bengal fan. It's because I want to watch the world burn and I want to watch Ernest sit here and have everything crumble in front of him. I'm like, what do I root for now?
I'll be okay.
Who do I root for now?
You already know that.
You forget, I have 44 teams. You forget this.
I'm just surprised Kyle didn't tell me how the Bills slot receiver is going to key on the Baltimore's defense. I don't know. Key on there.
I took the Texans plus the points. I've now taken the Bills plus the points. I want you to have one option left. I want you to have to try to find a 48th team to root for. I want to watch the world burn. Give me Buffalo.
Should we be talking about burning right now? Oh wait, your mic.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's going to be the best game of the weekend. I think. I don't think there's going to be a blowout either direction. I think both of these teams are really playing at their best clip. Baltimore's made hell of adjustments on the defensive side, which has made them a much better football team on both sides of the ball. Bills coming in here cruising pretty well. That said, I like where the Baltimore Ravens are at. I think that they're absolutely playing the best. I think they're a team that's focused on kind of changing the narrative around themselves. How both of these teams are. I mean, really, this is a big spot for both these teams. I like the Ravens though in this game, obviously to cover the one and get the victory. And I will take a slight over. I think we're going to see the offenses get moving in this one. Devin has the Bills and the over.
As a side note, if there's a candidate for an overtime game this weekend, it's sure as hell this one. So don't worry, Sean. Maybe after bedtime, you'll be fine to watch the last part of the game.
100%. 100%.
The over number is perfect, though. They have it right. They nailed that number. So
Vegas did their job on this one. All right, let's go to it. Probably shouldn't be that much discussion and debate on this one, but you know what time it is.
mean, hey,
You smoke crack.
I kazooed heavy metal. Why not pretend like I'm kazooing?
It's not a crack pipe, EJ. It's a kazoo.
You could see why he would mix that up.
He just
don't do meth.
Crack. I was like, no, he's just blowing a kazoo, man.
You smoke crack, don't you?
It is the NFL Power Rankings. Only 8 teams remaining. So we will have 8 teams to cover. EJ, who is
too high?
All right, here we go. All right, 8-1. 8 Commanders, 7 Texans, 6 Rams, 5 Eagles, 4 Bills, 3 Lions, 2 Ravens, 1 the championship pedigree known as Mahomes and Chris Jones
you
and company.
Still found a way to blow something on this list, didn't you?
Really? Speak on it, Kyle. What's up? Wait,
Kyle wants to hit it first.
Kyle,
how the hell do you put the Texans anywhere other than 8th? I'm done.
Correct.
Facts.
What happened to put them? What did you see to put the Texans at 7?
Dog. No, he's got to keep the championship pedigree. So whenever the Chiefs beat the 7, then they have another.
See, you get it. See,
oh my God!
He's trying to build a resume to give him the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament.
I thought I saw him apply to the College Football Playoff Committee to keep the ACC in it.
Wow, that's Mike.
Method to madness.
Something. Method.
Did you have Did you have the Ravens at 3 last week, EJ?
I did.
Okay.
Move them up.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, you move them up and you penalize a team who didn't play because they were so good that they.
I don't look as a penalty. Look at more as I'm just big on this team right now.
We can tell.
This is a Lamar flex.
It is.
You almost skipped the Vandal.
Don't forget Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry also too.
We got somebody going. Why? Why are the
Commanders? It's because he wants to make the Chiefs look better.
It's a very good question. We all wonder that.
Just answer that, Jason. Come on.
Just trying to lock up the 1 seed in the West Regional.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, Sean.
Homer.
Ones are probably the most.
Sucking off the Eagles.
Mine was hilarious. I flipped the top 4 like 6 times before I said it.
You went pretty
when Matt is saying that shit, that's a problem. When Matt is saying, "Oh damn,"
well, I knew who I was gonna pick to win games, and I had to have like the matchups make sense, and I had it all wrong. And so I had to make some last minute flips.
And for those on the podcast side, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe while you're there. But just check out the layout of the graphic because it is wild. You have me and Mike, who besides the Lions and the Bills are locked in. We have everybody the same. EJ, of course, is filleting the city of Kansas City.
And the rings too. Don't forget that. Yeah.
And then Sean, you do kiss the ring. Never mind. I was going to say something really inappropriate. Cochran.
Say it with your chest.
Sean, wow. There's a lot going on there, man.
Look,
you give me shit.
I can defend this. Bro. I can defend this.
Okay. Oh boy,
I hope so.
Popcorn, Jim.
I would hope so, Sean.
Hold on. So for the podcast side, he has Eagles 1, Lions 2, Ravens 3, Chiefs 4, Bills 5, Rams 6, Commanders 7, Texans 8. So Sean, go ahead. I'm gonna just grab my phone.
Okay. So the bottom 3 for everyone other than EJ was obvious, right? It was Texans, Commanders, Rams. That's your bottom. That's the 3 worst teams left. And it's part of what I said earlier when I was like, the cream is rising and like the best teams are there. And it's why kind of no matter what happens in a couple of these games, you're going to wind up with, it may not be the 4 best teams, but like you're going to be fine with them being the 4 best teams. Like you're going to be like, this is fine. And so my top 5, it's unfortunate because for me, the top 5 has now become, before I had like a 2 or 3 that I thought were like the best, and they were going to be the, and the 4 and 5 were kind of like a B. I think that the 5 that I have there are all tier 1. So I just kind of looked at it and when I shuffled it, I said, well, what's my Super Bowl? And the Super Bowl that I have, at least as of now and before the playoffs started, I have the Eagles beating the Ravens. And so the only way that any of that makes sense is if the Ravens are better than the Chiefs and the Bills and that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. And it was okay that the Lions are better than the Ravens because they're not going to get to play them. Okay. So as far as my predictions go and everything that I've sold to myself and I've told my psyche is going to happen, this had to be my top 10. But that 5, that's the order it had to be. And I don't believe in the Bills right now, so I put the Chiefs ahead of them. Because I just don't believe in the Bills as much as everyone else.
I'll chime in. I wouldn't have the Eagles at 1. Clearly I didn't do one, but to Sean's defense, the Eagles did not play well, and they still beat EJ's NFC Championship contender.
But that's a week 4 thing, Matthew. Come on.
No. You don't get to
hold on. Wait. He goes against me now.
Yes, you can.
I've been moonwalking backwards for weeks now. You know this, bro.
Because you're a coward. Because you're a coward.
No. Hold on. No.
We tried.
Can we make a Colin Coward, but like Colin Coward shirt?
We tried to warn you. We told you don't do.
Okay, fine, Jim. But Jim, it would be irresponsible for me to say if the Packers are showing signs of not playing as well as they did earlier in the year to continue to say, oh no. Be fine. No.
The irresponsible thing was putting the Packers in the NFC title game after 4 weeks.
Excuse me, Jim. I can make this really easy. May I have a Lucifer Morningstar, please?
You know what? I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you EJ's child. He's even laughing.
That's all you had to do.
He's laughing at you. We tried to get you to not do this. I even circled back and said, "Don't."
I get it.
Okay, everyone on the panel went, "Don't do this."
We're like, "Please, we're begging you, don't do this."
Because we remember what happened. You said one time the Saints were going to be the number 1 seed, and you said it in passing, and we never let you forget it. And then you were like, crown the Packers, and we're like, don't do it.
Sean, that's wrong too, because all I said
the Saints is the previous season.
You told us that the Saints had a path to the number 1 seed, and we made you eat it for years.
I said a path.
What we should be concentrating on is how you have the Jets and the Browns in the playoffs. That's really what we should be concentrating on.
Oh, yeah, you made a Browns play, too. I forgot about that.
Browns and Jets. And what? I mean, it happens. Hey.
You made a Jets play?
To be fair,
why are you in sports radio? Like, what is happening?
I think I put the Jets in my preseason.
It'd be like me taking up a career as like a cross-country coach. Like, this is what it was. Like, I ran once, so like I can teach you to run far.
The Browns were a playoff team last year too. On top of that, so I mean,
okay, Jason, that's fair. I'll back off.
Okay, hold on. Jason's firing shots. He said he's a Giants fan. God bless his soul.
I mean,
you're a Giants fan.
He was once.
Sometime
allegedly.
He literally sat here and said,
"That was the perfect allegedly."
He literally sat here and said, "No, we can't go back and call him out for having a take that he said at the middle of the season."
But I didn't say that.
No, stop! Shut up!
I didn't say that.
Shut up! You literally said it, and then you looked up and you were like, "But back in Week 5, the Ravens blew the doors off the Buffalo Bills." So hold on, how do you use it as a defense? And then we
no.
Which is 1 week after the other take.
Wait. Yeah. I didn't say that. I didn't say. No, I mentioned that, but I didn't say that. Don't use it against me. I said. I'm fixing.
You mentioned it, but you didn't say it.
No,
what are you doing?
No. What I'm saying, I didn't say not to say it. I said, never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even fucking matter.
What are you talking about, man?
Thank you.
You better hope you never get convicted of a crime, because on the stand you're going to fry.
Not even convicted.
I didn't say it. I didn't.
No. I didn't say not to say it. I just said that was last year. That's all I said.
EJ gets called in as a character witness. And
it just goes to jail. Like this.
My brain just got dizzy with all the things he said or didn't.
Anyway, before all that, I was going to thank Matt
for
making a great Eagles point that I didn't get to make earlier, which is that the Eagles had struggles on offense, and still at no point in that game were in danger of losing it. There was a point where they were in danger of being in danger, but they never let it even get that close. So I was worried. Around halftime, I'm like, it's too close. Like it's just, but if you're never going to let the other team move the ball, it doesn't really matter. So it was. They're my one because I think they're good. This is our best chance in a while to win the whole thing, and I'm going to.
Also, the Packers having line injuries. 2 offensive line starters out in the back half of the game was a factor too.
And their entire wide receiver core. Yeah.
Everyone has line injuries. It's the playoffs.
He rumbled and he rambled and he stumbled and he fumbled.
Yeah.
Goodness.
See, not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
I think it's more significant when you go into the game having them, and then in the back half
Correct.
you don't. That's what
I
I'm
agree.
getting at.
No. that was more of a shout out to Ernest for the Rumble.
Oh no, I understood that. I was giving Sean my.
I do also agree though. Like Christian Watson going out the week before, Romeo Dobbs getting hurt in that game. Like literally,
they just started running out of receivers. They had no one left.
They actually asked 3 fans from Philly if they'd want to come out and
Like, hey, you want to play
receiver.
against the Birds? And they're like, no.
Playoff game.
We're good. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me is I would have liked to move the Ravens up. This is where I had them last week, but I'm not going to penalize the Eagles for losing. I'm not going to penalize the Eagles for winning. I'm not going to penalize the Bills for winning, and I'm not going to move 2 teams that didn't play and earn their spot where they are. So obviously, Ravens will have some chance to move up if they win. Obviously, they'll be in the top 4, but. Yeah, I think that was the hardest spot for me.
Well, of course they'll be in the top 4. There's no other team. There's no other spots left, Jim. Damn it!
Did you fuckers call each other? Did you fuckers you and Mike call each other? Do a list?
No.
Actually, we didn't even communicate about it. But I mean,
you're the one that steals notes, EJ.
I steal your notes though. That's different.
I'm not trying to make fun of.
And
I'm not
you
trying
still
to make fun of one of our
That's
listeners.
13. That's 13 years of shit. I mean, come on now.
I mean, you're one to come after a list.
I'm not one to jump on somebody in the comments, but can you put Jason's last one up there? Like, I feel like this is the most EJ question. Because it's literally what's the most likely upset. And then he's like, Ravens over the Bills. If that's an upset, I think the Ravens are favored by one.
That's not an upset.
And I'm like, well, then it's not an upset, right?
Well, degenerates. An upset is actually going to someone's house as the lower seed and winning 2. That is an upset.
And if that's the case, then if this is the 2 that are up for debate, Rams over the Eagles in Philly or the Ravens over the Bills in Buffalo, I think the Ravens by far most likely to make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, question.
Yeah. But I was like, EJ, that a friend of yours?
Although it's like it's hard to be an upset if you're favored, but
but yeah. But I guess by seed it would be.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, Jim, Texas winning on Saturday was an upset. Just so we're clear about that.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, by the point spread, yes.
Yes, for degenerates,
were favored.
Las Vegas,
it was a Vegas upset. Yeah,
Las Vegas upset. By the logic of the home team won their game, no, it is not.
Right.
Well, it's the degenerate defense, right?
Correct. Las Vegas upset. Logically, no.
Cool.
It took me a minute to catch up because I.
Oh, by the way, no intent meant there, Jason. It was just a good chance to tie into a bumbling EJ.
Oh no, don't apologize.
Now you're tied in with him, Jason.
We love Jason.
Take that, Jason.
I haven't gotten in a lot of conversations with Jason's comments.
Compared you to EJ, Jason, my goodness.
We will begin to wrap up the show here as we do each and every week. We'll look at the upcoming weekend.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, gentlemen, what is going to happen this upcoming week? Mikey B, we'll start with you.
My lock of the week, 2 home teams in the NFL playoffs will lose.
Spicy. Lock it up. EJ, what will happen this upcoming week?
My lock of the week is that I will go 4-0 in my picks this week.
Ha!
Wait, hold on. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
I think you were just fine. What he said was a complete joke, Jim.
Wait, did he somehow double jinx his own picks?
Yeah.
No,
is this a trick?
Spread.
Is this a trick?
4-0.
Like we think we're safe, but now he's like jinxed the picks that were already.
Yes, that's why I threw my headset down.
Now I'm confused.
I'm sliding money.
Now I don't know what.
You're so dramatic. So dramatic.
Light it on fire.
My brain hurts. Student of the game, what will happen this weekend?
Why am I dramatic? I just laughed at you.
My brain hurts.
Puka Nacua will go over 100 yards. Cooper Kupp will not.
Okay. All right.
Lock it up.
Matt, what will happen this upcoming weekend?
Deion Sanders, new coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I love it.
Awesome.
Like I love it. I've said it in every text group I'm in. Jerry, go ahead and do it. Make me care less. Make me care less.
I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
Double dare you, Jerry.
We'll be there next year, September, week 1.
Nah, he'll be a Fighting Harbaugh by then.
That's right.
He's already got the hat.
Give me Harbaugh. Give me
Oh,
Dez.
going San Diego. Go San Diego. San Diego.
I mean, he's going to be San Diego. They haven't had a team in who knows how long.
Padres. Kind of like the Angels. They're like the
San
Diego Chargers of Los Angeles.
Those be San Diego.
Southwest Compton, Orange County.
There you go. Sean, what will happen this weekend?
I had some fun ones bouncing around, including, I was going to give you a chance at the homer button and tell you that Saquon was going to outrush the entire Rams team. But let me just go ahead and I don't know what EJ did, but here's my lock of the week. EJ will go 0-4 in his pick. 0-4.
I love it.
Wow. Owen Wilson? No, 0-4.
Wow.
I think I used that meme on the Florida State Seminoles earlier.
So
Definitely did.
So Chiefs cover, Commanders cover.
I don't care what the bets were.
Rams
EJ.
cover.
I'm curious.
That's what it is,
they are.
though. That's what it is.
That's
what I mean, though. I'm going 4-0 on my bets.
Like you say this, but your best bets for the season, you were barely above 500. Like, shouldn't your best bets be like close to guarantees?
Well,
Best bets.
best.
Teams
His
that
best
are,
bets aren't the best.
Well, no, his best bets are the ones where like you don't make because they're teams a 17-point favorite. And he takes them minus 5,000. He's like, I'm not gonna put those on Facebook.
In his defense, the best bet is betting the opposite of what he posts. That's the best bet.
Jim, you weren't bitching when I went 5-0, 5-0, 4-1 for 3 weeks straight. So
I have no recollection.
I know we were bitching.
You want to go on Blue Sky and confirm that?
EJ, if you had that good of a run and you still finished at 500, that's really bad.
Yeah, you would put it on Blue Sky. No one's on Blue Sky yet.
Yeah, 5-0, 5-0, 4-1, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4,
2-3, 3-2.
Not so fast, my friend.
Thank you, Lee.
Nice. There's some FSU love for you there, Jim or EJ.
Oh man, it never gets
for this weekend. The Baltimore Ravens will win on the back of a pick six.
I like
put the stamp
Kyle Hamilton
on their victory. Yeah,
Kyle Hamilton even more.
There we go.
Ernest would pick the Irish guy to get the pick six to win the game for the Ravens.
Works for me. Give me that ring. Let's go Ravens.
Jason, the Commanders and Lions will go over 55 points.
I think that's a good pick, Jason.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
To the under in that one, actually.
All right, let's close it up for this week. Sean, we'll start with you. Tell the people where they can follow you.
Well, you can follow me on the Twitter. I'm still there at Sean Shine State, sharing some funny memes and some sports statistics and occasionally my own thoughts, but very rarely because I don't have many. But otherwise, if you're a student on the podcast, you can follow me in my own classroom. Don't forget that we're doing a lab tomorrow, so come ready to play.
Sir, I'm a little old for your class as a student of the game, but okay.
Never too old for science, Kyle.
Good point. Carry on.
50% of the population that needs to learn that lesson. Matt, where can they follow you?
Jesus. Yeah, you can follow me across all platforms at Teaching to the Choir. You can hear me Mondays on the Maximize Monday podcast and Tuesdays and Thursdays on the 3CT podcast.
All right, student of the game.
Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, as well as Blue Sky, because I'm allegedly one of the cool kids at the SOTG. Find me as a student of the game on Facebook. Also, apparently, find me in Mr. Neese's class tomorrow, learning the science and the probability. Well, that's more math, but the probability of how stupid EJ's picks are. Also, check out my work with the Fans First Sports Network, writing up on the Orlando Magic.
Goddamn true.
Orlando Magic and Jacksonville Jaguars, as well as the Student of the Game podcasts. 2 panelists this week will be guesting here on the Student of the Game podcast, and you'll see that on the Huddle Up podcast feed, by the way. That's a nice little addition we got going on there as well. Also, check out my work with the Duval Dive podcast at 7:30 as we analyze this whole train wreck of a franchise trying to find a new coach. Me and Travis D. Holmes will take you through all of that. Make sure you check it out on the Duval Dive YouTube channel or on the Fans First Duval Dive podcast feed, any of your podcast catchers, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what have you. Check out the coaching candidate profiles as well. We currently have in all the podcast section too. And the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF football and basketball. Scott Frost is nearing the completion of his coaching tree there at UCF, so make sure you check that out. And of course, Big 12 basketball, men's and women's, things I look at, things I talk about, not only in print on the blackandgoldbanneret.com, but also the Night Shift podcast, that YouTube channel, over 1,000 subscribers. Get in there if you want to get some UCF stuff. So until next time, everybody, in honor, joy, and privilege, class dismissed.
Very good. You were talking about dumpster fires trying to find their head coach. I thought you ventured into Dallas for a minute, but you wrapped it back on the Duval dive.
Sir, he wasn't fired technically. Remember, his contract expired.
That is true.
And I did not want to interrupt the operation of the Nice space program.
There you go. Very good. Mike McCarthy, have fun. EJ, let him know.
Yeah, Rangers up 2-1, second intermission.
Nobody cares.
You don't give
Nobody
a shit
cares.
about hockey.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
All right, on command. Each with a 7 on Twitter.
Why are we doing
on
this?
what?
Nothing.
11?
The Rangers.
Don't distract him, Sean. He gets
All right,
distracted.
go.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
go.
yeah, sorry. Each with a 7 on Twitter. Fucking Blue Sky, Ernst Week Podcast, YouTube.com/Ernest Christian. That's all I got for you.
All right, Mikey B.
Twitter, they call me Burn. Take 3 Wrestling Podcast, live now on Twitch and on YouTube. 24 Hours to Burn, a podcast that I'm doing with my wife. Check that out on Spotify.
Hey,
it's a lot of fun.
Still love that name.
She was under the weather last week, so no episodes. So we're going to record tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. I'm sorry, she had no voice.
I'm joking.
You know, some people take weeks off when they can't talk. You talk more.
Oh no,
that's true.
Listen to us next week when we talk about the national title winner. Bye, guys.
Laryngitis up there.
Laryngitis. Wow. Holy shit.
I was not ready for that.
That's so goddamn true.
That's good. You can get me at Big Jim Sports. But make sure you follow the show. We're at Huddle Up Podcast on YouTube, on Facebook, on Blue Sky, on Twitter, on TikTok while it's still here. On Instagram at Huddle Up Podcasting, on Twitch at Huddle Up Inc. Of course, you can get our merchandise on tpublic.com. Hit the link tree in all of our socials and YouTube to get everywhere you need to be. You can get us on all podcast platforms as well, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Yeah, the live season is kind of winding down a bit. Next week we will cover the closing of the college season. The day after the national championship game, we'll talk NFL championship weekend, and much more. So have a great week, everyone. Until next Tuesday, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.